I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me. No me, write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
All right, y'all, sorry about that. We fixed it. So, technical difficulty gone. And we're now here for the show. You guys know the deal. Sometimes I struggle with technical difficulties because I'm just one man, right? But here's the format for the show. I come in here and I talk to you guys about what's trending today in the world of sports. While I do that and I talk to you guys get to load up the chat, write any questions you want, and then I'll answer the questions. Now, we lost a lot of people that were in here waiting for the show to start because I had technical difficulties. So I had to take it down. That's on me, but we're back. Here's the deal. I'm going to talk about what's trending. You guys will ask the questions, and we'll have a great show. So let me go right into it, what's trending. I was looking at Twitter right now, trying to see what's trending, and what I noticed was hard R is trending. Hard R. And if you don't know what the hard R is, that's the way you end the N-word, right? It's not okay. The hard R is trending. Shout out to Clay Travis for trending right underneath it. Not a coincidence. If you guys know, Clay Travis is very right-wing oriented. But, hey, somebody's trending hard R status. Let me get my ticker in the front. I apologize. Sometimes technical difficulties get the best of me. I can't even talk. I'm blaming COVID. I'm blaming the vaccine. Okay, let's get it under wraps here. Let's get this show on the road, and let's talk about what's trending today. And then I'll talk to you guys in the chat. You guys know the deal. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all my fans. Let's go. So, first things first. They tell me Britney Spears was slammed. Britney Spears was slapped in the face by Victor Whataburger, Wimpy Whataburger security. Now, somebody says she went out and touched him. She reached for him in a crowd, or she tried to get a picture. They were at a restaurant at the Aria, the hotel in Vegas. He's there for his game tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night's his game. People are going to watch. But this guy, how tall is Britney Spears? Because I know this man is 7'4". So if Britney Spears came up from behind him to touch him, where? She touched him on the waist? She can't reach his head, his shoulders. She can't reach anything. This man is enormous. She's a little tiny girl. She just reached out and touched him? Come on now. So they threw him on the floor. They threw her on the floor, pushed her down to the floor, assaulted her. She had to do a police report. Hey, man, you don't touch Britney Spears, bruh. Wimpy Whataburger. Your security needs to back off. And then they said, Britney composed herself, walked over to her table, and then the security member came over to apologize. All right, bruh. He says, you understand how it is when you're being swarmed by fans. Bruh, Britney Spears doesn't know Wimpy Whataburger from anybody. She just saw a dude 7'4" and said, yo, can I get a picture with you, you circus freak? Are you kidding me? You threw her down on the ground? You're a circus freak. No one cares. It's gross. It's gross. She spotted Victor on the way to Catch restaurant, on the way to the Catch restaurant at the resort. I think it's called the Catch, the restaurant. Are you kidding me? You can't spot this dude? You can spot him anywhere. He's got security backhanding Britney Spears. You want to smack Britney, bruh? I think they're in on it together. There's no other way. Britney couldn't touch this dude if she needed to. Where's she touching him, bro? She's waist high. I think that boy's suspect. Think that boy's sus, but he didn't want her around. Oh well. The next story that's trending for me, that I care about, is this kicker right here. Brandon Aubrey. So Brandon Aubrey, coming out of high school, was nobody in the world of football. Brandon Aubrey was a soccer player, essentially the 24th best player in soccer in the country in high school, right? That's what he was rated. 24th to 43rd, depending on where you look. I checked 2 different sources. And he went to Notre Dame for soccer. Played there for 4 years. This is back in 2014 to 2018 time frame. And he plays soccer there. Then he's a first-round draft pick in MLS. Soccer, still. Doesn't make it in MLS, goes to United States Football League or Soccer League, whatever it is, the AAA of soccer. Doesn't make it there. And then he's chilling for about 4 years. Goes over to the USFL, says, yo, I want to be a kicker. Starts kicking for the Birmingham Stallions. And you see him here back-to-back USFL champion. Okay, Brandon Aubrey. Career-long 49 yards. He's made 14 out of 15 field goals. He's only missed 1. Made all his extra points. This is significant. And the Cowboys went ahead and signed him. Now, the Cowboys wanted a kicker in the draft. But, oh, holy smokes, the Patriots took a kicker in Ryland. They took him in the 4th round. Who took the other kicker? Was it not the Rams? Who was it who took the other guy in the 3rd round? Who took that kicker in the 3rd round? You know, the guy with the mustache. Kicker drafted in 3rd round. Who was it? Jake Moody. Oh, the 49ers took him. This is the guy with the stash. You would never let him date your daughter. So the 49ers go out and take a kicker in the 3rd round. The Patriots take one in the 4th round. Thank you guys for letting me know in the chat here. You guys are on it. But what's going on? What's going on? You take kickers that early, Cowboys like, we need one. So they go into free agency. They don't want Mason Crosby. They don't. Who's the other kicker they didn't want? There's another kicker. Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould. They said, nah, no thanks for Robbie Gould either. They said, we're going to take this guy, this soccer player, and we're going to do the best we can. And the reason they like him so much, he doesn't miss extra points. Shout out to Brett Maher. You guys remember Brett Maher? Great kicker. Great kicker, Brett Maher. What are we talking about? He missed 6 extra points in 2 games. When they lose their confidence, they got to go. 6 extra points in 2 games? Give me anybody. Give me a soccer player. We can find a better kicker at home, bro. You can't be missing extra points like that. 6 of them in 2 games. He's unemployed. And they're going to the USFL for another special team stud. They got one last year in Turpin, right? The kickoff returner, punt returner out of TCU. Kind of been arrested here or there. But, hey, shout out to USFL players for getting an opportunity in the NFL. Hope he wins the job. He is competing with that other guy from, what's his dang name? Tristan Vizcaino. Yep, he's competing with Vizcaino. We'll see what happens. I'm pulling for the USFL kid, for sure. I'm pulling for the soccer player all day, okay? Now, Joaquin Buckley comes out. He says UFC fighters are lying about their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belts. They're all claiming to be black belts. But when you roll with them, they're not really black belts. And he's pointing out Kevin Holland, who says he's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, but he's been tapped out, I think, 3 times. 3 of his 4 losses. Yeah, I want to run it back with Kev. It's down here. Kev has been, how is my man a black belt and been submitted 4 times? It makes no sense. Let me tell you guys something. I'm a martial arts expert. I'm a master combatives instructor. I have certified black belts in various martial arts. I only have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I refuse to go get my brown or black belt in jiu-jitsu. Now, am I a black belt level fighter or jiu-jitsu practitioner? Yes. I am. I certify black belts. I do belt testing. I go into different dojos, different fight houses, and I do certification of black belts. I'm a multiple-time black belt in various forms of martial arts. But I refuse to pay. I will not pay gym memberships. I will go and be a coach. I will go and be a instructor and a teacher and a sensei. That's what my gi says, Sensei Rico. I will show up and be a guest instructor, but I'm not going to pay for the black belt. I think a lot of these guys paying for their black belts, that doesn't make them a black belt. When you roll with someone, you can tell the grip, the knowledge, and the understanding of what a black belt is. I really mean that, guys. When you get in someone's guard, sometimes you go, whoa, I'm in a real guard, right? It's not an accident, because being in a guard isn't innate. Nobody's born and says, yo, I'm going to do a guard. Nope. So when you're in a bar fight and somebody pulls guard, just know they're trained. Just know you're in a real fight right now, right? So when I get on the mat and I roll with practitioners of different belts, what I notice is a certain level of aggression, reckless aggression, until the opening is there, right? So a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, they're all the same to me. They're kind of like aggressive, and they're looking for their opening, and they're trying to tap you out with everything they do. Whereas as you go up in echelon and you get more experienced practitioners and rollers, when you get on the mat, you realize right away, oh, I don't need to go all out until my opening is there. There's no point in I don't need to maintain wrist control so firmly that I get exhausted in the next 2 or 3 minutes, right? I wonder about some of these UFC guys when they say they're black belts and I see them actually get on the mat and there is a takedown, they don't do it right. And one thing Buckley talks about is, well, I think they're lying about their black belt. I think they're lying about their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt level. And the reason they're lying, why would somebody lie about it? Outside of marketability, being able to say, I'm a black belt, I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. The reason they're lying is because they want to strike fear in their opponent, right? Let's say you're not a very good wrestler. You go and tell the promotion and you tell everybody, I'm a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a BJJ black belt. That wrestler will be hesitant to take you down because they don't want to be caught in some type of move or submission, right? They're like, whoa, he probably knows how to get a submission off his back. He probably knows how to triangle me. If I get a takedown, he's going to get a guillotine. Like, you think of all these different things. Guess what? It's all gamesmanship. None of it's real. Because once you're in the cage and the door closes, you got to be able to fight. And no amount of accolades, no amount of claim to fame over here is going to help you. Kevin Holland is not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Not in a million years. I would roll with that dude right now. I'm telling you, I'm a lot bigger than him. But I just don't see black belt on him when I watch the fights. I'm thoroughly appalled when someone says they're a black belt and they make so many mistakes. They're just fundamentally not there. They don't control hips. They don't keep it tight. They just don't. I see a guy in the mountain and he loses his position, or in the rear mountain and he's too high and can't get a hook in and can't put, we call it poisonous tree frog, can't get it back. You're trying to shake someone off and you don't know what you're doing. Like, fundamentally terrible. You're not fighting for underhooks. You don't know how to pass a half guard. Like, there's just a lot of things they do wrong. Submission, right? Position before submission. They don't even understand the fundamentals. But once again, you're talking to somebody who's been training for 20 years, who teaches all the time. And I've certified and taught so many people, thousands of people, thousands, not hundreds, thousands. And what I'll tell you is we recognize real quick. Game recognize game. Real quick. I could be with you for 2 minutes and know right away whether or not you've trained and what level belt you are. Right off the top. Very rarely am I wrong. Very rarely do I assess somebody. There's always those prank videos on YouTube where somebody's rolling and then they're wearing a white belt and then they roll and they keep tapping people out and they're tapping out the brown belts and the blue belts and the purple. I would know immediately from your grip. I would know immediately from your tendencies and your strategy involved. As most practitioners do. So I believe Joaquin Buckley when he says, man, I roll with these guys and you know a black belt when you roll with them. He even says it in the story here. Joaquin, towards the bottom, he's like, a lot of these guys claiming to be high-level jiu-jitsu practitioners, right? He says, I roll with some real black belts, and it's different. And it's different. If you rolled with me, you would know right away, whoa, I'm in the wrong place. I'm on the wrong... I've been on a mat for 26 years. So if you're 24 years old, you've been walking for 22 years of your 24 years. You're 24 years old. You've been walking for 22 years. And you walk pretty good, right? Well, I've been rolling for longer than you've been alive. I roll pretty good. And that's the mindset. And that's what Joaquin Buckley's talking about. These guys are young, and they're all claiming to be black belts. You're 24 years old, 25, 26 years old. Just keep it real. Just say you're a blue belt. Just say you're a purple belt. And then see what it's about on the mat. Belts don't matter, but that's why they're bragging and lying about it. So shout out to Joaquin Buckley for calling him out. Kind of funny to me. I'm going to save this story for after I go to the chat. I plan to go to the chat soon. So get your questions in, guys. I'll get with you guys here in a second. Skip Bayless is going to take 2 months off. 2 months off from FS1 because they haven't found a replacement. Somebody needs to tell FS1 I'll show up and roast Skip Bayless every single day of my life. That guy couldn't talk 2 minutes with me. He really couldn't. The guy, what does he do? He goes for runs. He's famous because he thought Troy Aikman lived an alternative lifestyle. I can't stand Skip Bayless. I'd chew him up and spit him out. And there's no arguing needed. There's no debate needed. I would just be right. I'd agree with him, but then we'd both be wrong. So that's how that goes. Shout out to Corey Dillon for holding a grudge forever. Corey Dillon's still mad at the Bengals. Corey Dillon said, and everything's an F-bomb and everything's cursed out. This ain't no popularity contest. He wants to be in the Ring of Honor for the Bengals, and they won't put him in. And he said it. The Bengals are smart. They're giving it to season ticket holders to do the voting. He's like, oh, those guys don't like me. He says, that's BS. The shit should come straight from the team. Half these season ticket holders never saw us play. They never saw us play. They never seen half of us play. He wants to be there. Then he goes on to say, and I quote, it's down here somewhere. This is crazy. I'm pretty sure they will put effing John Kitna in there before they put me in there. Matter of fact, Scott Mitchell will end up in that mother effer before I do. This is a dude getting quoted. Let me tell you what he needs to do. He needs to just draw it back a little bit. Just dial it back and chill, bruh. You're not Anthony Munoz. You're not endeared and loved by the fan base. But you are a 10,000-yard rusher. You are a borderline Hall of Fame running back. I think he gets in by the veteran committee someday. Corey Dillon, at one point, held the NFL record for most rushing yards in a game. He broke Walter Payton's record. 275 yards in a game. Corey Dillon, 4-time Pro Bowler. Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. Corey Dillon's going to get in the Hall of Fame. 10,000 yards. I think he's, what is he? 17th all-time in rushing? Let me check that. I don't ever like to be wrong. But NFL rushing leaders all-time. Haven't looked this up before. Let's see what we got. Where is Corey Dillon? 20th. My bad. He got passed by 3 guys. He was 17th when he retired, probably. So he's 20th. He's ahead of OJ. He's ahead of OJ. You got to look at Corey Dillon. He's right there, ahead of OJ. He's ahead of LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy. I said 10,000. He's 11,000 yards. Corey Dillon's top 20 all time. He's going to the Hall of Fame someday. But man, does he hate the Bengals. I think it's funny. All right, I'm going to get to the rest of this. Let me go. I read a story here, and then I'll go to the chat. I read this story here, and they said 5 wide receivers that need to retire before next season. And the first one they mentioned is Robert Woods, Bob Forrest, Bobby Trees here, Robert Woods. He's only 30, bro. He's only 30. This is crazy. They're saying because he had 63 or he had low receptions and yards last year, 527 yards, he's on his way down, less than 10 yards a carry. I don't know, man. He's with the Texans. He's with Tank Dell and them boys. Needs to retire before the start of next season. He's probably got 2-3 years left. Come on, guys. Randall Cobb probably needs to retire. He's 33. If you guys don't remember, Randall Cobb played quarterback in college at Kentucky. Moved to wide receiver when he got to the NFL. So Randall Cobb's one of those guys. Been around a long, long time. Probably does need to retire. Receivers don't last that long. 33, that's crazy. Sammy Watkins, 29 years old. They're saying he needs to retire. He's only 29. That's nuts. That's nuts. Now, he never amounted to anything. He's been on injured reserve a lot. He's been injured. Second stint with the Ravens. I get it, but 29? Deshaun Jackson, 36. Probably needs to retire. 7 games last year, 9 receptions, 153 yards, 0 touchdowns. What is he doing? He was already retired. He was already retired. So if Deshaun Jackson is not number 1, what's going on? Who's number 1? Who's number 1? I don't even want to scroll down. I know who it is. But Deshaun Jackson should be number 1. Those stats are horrendous, but he's getting a paycheck. And he probably wants a paycheck. I don't blame him. I'm in the Army right now. I want a paycheck. That's why I'm sticking around. I'd love to know who you guys think is number 1. And number 1 is Julio Jones. 34 years old, 10 games, 24 receptions, 298. He needs to go, bro. Julio Jones needs to retire. Julio Jones needs to, with all due respect to future Hall of Famer Julio Jones. By the way, it's going to take him a while to get in the Hall of Fame. Wide receivers take forever to get in the Hall of Fame. There's a long line. Torrey Holt's still waiting. Okay? Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, all still waiting. Julio Jones is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a fifth or sixth ballot Hall of Famer. That's how long they had to wait for Chris Carter, Terrell Owens, Andre Reed. Like, you just got to wait. That's just the way it is for wide receivers. There's such a long line. But yeah, Julio Jones needs to retire before the start of next season. I would agree. Just a shout out. Before I get into this mess, let's go. Let's go talk to the chat. Oh, we can do SlamBall. What is SlamBall, guys? What is SlamBall? Because it's going to be showing starting July 21st. It's got trampolines and a basket. This looks like when you go to those parks. Have you guys been to those indoor trampoline places? I take my kids to them. Indoor trampolines and they jump everywhere. That's what this looks like to me. And they have it right here, SlamBall. What is it? I don't know. But it's going to be on ESPN Plus. Maybe we'll catch a game. Opening night, July 21st. Maybe we might catch a game or two. I don't know. They play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So every weekend before the NFL, before college football. I'm watching preseason games over this for sure. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm watching preseason games instead of this nonsense. But SlamBall is coming out. Somebody do some research and let me know the rules, the scoring. I know nothing about SlamBall. New sport. Help me out. Help me, help you. All right, we'll do this after we take chat. So let me go get the questions going. Thanks for being here, guys. Sorry I had such a late start. I had some technical difficulties. If you're on TikTok talking to me, I don't see the chat. You got to come over to YouTube and drop your questions in, and then I'll get with you. So let's go back to the top and see what happens. First, ha ha ha. Hey, Connor's saying he's first because he wasn't. We obviously had a live stream before this. Technical difficulties. I had to close it, start a new one, and Connor beat everybody in. So he's saying he's first. He's never first. Peace, Rico. Peace, chat. Peace out to you, Sean Ruffner. Thanks for being here. What's good, Rico? What's good, Manny on business? Congratulations to all those who competed in Fargo, USA Wrestling Junior Nationals, the largest wrestling tournament in the world. Hey, Eric Gonzalez. I didn't know they were wrestling in Fargo. I don't really pay attention to Junior Nationals, but I'd imagine it's probably got to be an incredible event for the athletes that are there. I was a wrestler by trade for many years, and so I got a lot of respect for wrestling. Shout out to them. To be fair, with the Me Too movement, every star is avoiding any girl's touch. Seinfeld even rejected Kesha at red carpet as she tried to hug him and he didn't recognize her. Well, Chris E., he doesn't know who she is, but everybody knows who Britney Spears is. Even that Frenchie, even that wimpy French dude, he knows who Britney Spears is. That's her town. She's doing a residency there in Vegas. You're there for her show. She's at the Aria. She's the biggest star there. She's a lot bigger star than Wimpy Whataburger. Let's be clear. So I don't buy it. You don't do that to Britney Spears. You don't do that to Britney Spears. Shout out to you, Steve. Thanks. We're back. Nick Saban would have had his kicker in a cave in Afghanistan if he missed 6 extra points. Well, yeah, college extra points are a little closer than NFL extra points. If you don't remember, college extra points are done from the 3-yard line. NFL, 35. So, or 28. So there you go. Steve, what up, man? Rico, have you checked out YouTube channel USFL Forever? Watch some film on Steve Williams, Dr. Death Today. Cool channel. Okay, so I know what it is. I've never looked at the channel. I just know it's all the USFL games and interviews and everything all on the internet. It's all on YouTube. So if you want to go watch it, you can. I've gone to it, I think, for Steve Young highlights once, for the LA Express, Steve Young highlights, and I don't remember why else I went, but I've never sat there and watched all the content. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool that you had time to do that, Steve. Kind of cool that you got that amount of downtime. I don't. I work out every day. Quick analysis on the Americans still in the polka dot jersey in the tour. It's turned into a story. So if you guys don't know, polka dot jersey is for whoever's leading in the mountain stages in the Tour de France. And we have an American leading in the mountain stages in the Tour de France. So kind of cool. Kind of cool. Because we never win those mountain stages. We're not built for that. We're American as hell. Give me a second here. I'm trying to fix my camera. I gotta fix my camera. There we go. I want to do that. Sorry, guys. I'm getting adjusted as we go. Let's see what happens next. Good day, Rico. What up, Boss Omar? Would you comment on Texas legislatures add its 2 cents into the world of NIL? This will give all big schools in Texas a huge war chest. Thanks. So I haven't looked into it, Boss Omar, but I know that every state is doing certain types of legislature for NIL. I just saw that New York did one today where, it's not today, it was yesterday, where they prohibited the NCAA from going after players and identifying their NIL origin or something to that effect. In other words, the state just has to have hands off or the NCAA has to have hands off on New York players and college athletes. And I think that's going to be a precedent. I think everybody's going to do it. I'll have to look into the Texas legislature. I didn't know about it. That's on me. I owe you guys an answer. Great question. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I'm not writing it down because it's important. It'll be at the forefront of my mind when I get off live here. You got your hoodie. Prod Self got his hoodie. If you guys didn't know, he went to RicoKnows.org and he bought himself some merch. He got himself a Rico Knows hoodie. I hope you got, I don't know why he got a hoodie in the middle of the summer. That's absurd. It is July. Get a t-shirt. Oh, just so you know, I make more money on the t-shirts than the hoodies. But thank you. I appreciate anybody who's buying the merch and rocking out with some Rico Knows attire. I got a few myself as gifts, so thank you guys for supporting the channel and supporting me and this journey we're on. Thanks for being here, folks. Subscribe and hammer that like button. Yep, we had a lot of likes before. We'll get there. Shout out to those of you who are watching on TikTok and on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, I don't see your chat. Move over, and you can ask me questions, and I'll give you answers. Back to what we're saying. Let's go. Thanks for being here, folks. Well done, Prod Self. Wear with pride. Slow down. It's Pride Month, or it was. Slow down. Who you got in the 2 title fights this weekend, Rico? Also, I'm kind of hell excited to watch Bo Nickel again. Future of the sport for sure. So Grant Wise, I am not giving out any of my UFC picks until Saturday, right before each fight. I don't want people to take my picks and then bet on them and go make money. If you haven't been keeping track, when I do my UFC live streams, I pick the winner. I'm going to do a video on it tonight. I pick the winner a lot of times. I'm a little too accurate to just share my takes on UFC fights. I feel people are betting, and I'm not here to give you guys betting advice, but I know it's just an honest question. But I can't give you the answer until Saturday. Show up Saturday, watch the live stream with me. You'll have to pay for your own pay-per-view. You'll have to watch the prelims on ESPN+. But I will be here commentating and providing my feedback. We usually only have between a dozen to 30 people total for the entire live stream. We don't care. We're here kicking it with friends who know fighting, and we enjoy it. And over time, that group will grow. But for now, we're rocking with a solid 30 people, and we'll take it. Yep, no complaints here. Royce Gracie and Dan Severn, for example. Severn was 80 pounds bigger and still got submitted. So, yeah, early UFC, what people don't talk about, in the early UFC, it was genuine practitioners versus other practitioners. So it was genuinely a Taekwondo black belt versus a Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a kickboxer versus a boxer. I can remember one very vivid fight at UFC 1, Royce Gracie, right? However you want to pronounce it and spell it. But Royce Gracie goes out there in the first match, and he's going up against this guy who's a boxer. And he's wearing a boxing glove. He's wearing one boxing glove. In the very first UFC, I think it's the second fight on UFC 1, and he's fighting Royce Gracie, and he's wearing one boxing glove. And he's got a bare hand. And the minute they get on the ground, and he's trying to get out of certain dominant body positions, the first thing he does is try to get his hand out of the glove. Because he needs his hand. He can't use his fingers. He's in a boxing glove. It's the dumbest thing you've ever seen. He's trying to fight with one boxing glove. Why? What are we doing? There was no 4-ounce gloves back then. One guy breaks his foot. Another guy breaks a hand. And it's obvious that Ken Shamrock, and Royce Gracie are a cut above all the rest. And the reason is Shamrock's wrestling. He's a shoot wrestler, which is almost like Jiu-Jitsu, except they don't do any choking. They do a lot of takedowns, grips, twists, manipulation of different joints and things of that nature. So Shamrock had a good understanding of how to, but he still gets tapped out. And Hoist Gracie wins the fight. But that was before we started implementing MMA or mixed martial arts. Once you started finding wrestlers who could learn how to do takedown defense, learn how to get out of certain submissions, as the years go on and it progresses, it became MMA, which is so important to me that you understand every aspect. So knees and elbows of Muay Thai and learning the clinches of Muay Thai, throws of judo, takedowns of wrestling, striking from boxing, kickboxing. Like once you put it all together, now you're an MMA fighter and a mixed martial artist. And that's why there's no single practitioner that's winning a belt. Like if you can only do jiu-jitsu, you're not winning a belt in the UFC ever. You're going to get knocked out because the guy you're going up against can do jiu-jitsu and maybe defend against it well enough and still knock you out. If you're only a kickboxer, you better learn all aspects of everything else. And that's why they're very good at the clinch. That's why they're good at pummeling against the cage. It had to evolve. So no, it's no longer can this black belt from this. Because if you guys don't know this, there's a guy named Helio Gracie. Helio Gracie back in the 30s and 40s. Helio Gracie used to go around, he was 130 pounds. And he would challenge any sensei in any dojo to a fight. But he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu. They had never seen jiu-jitsu in their life. So he comes up. Helio Gracie is Hoist Gracie's grandfather or uncle, great uncle. I'm trying to remember. But they came up from Brazil and just went around America challenging anybody anywhere. And there's videos of this stuff. And it was just to show that jiu-jitsu was the best martial art. But now, jiu-jitsu will not win you a fight by itself. No, you just get punched in the face, right? When you train in jiu-jitsu, you're doing it with a gi or no gi, and there's no striking involved. And you'll see fighters like that who are rolling in UFC who have no striking capabilities whatsoever. They're just jiu-jitsu world champs, and they will get pummeled because they don't understand when to strike. They don't know how to strike, and they don't know how to follow it up. The best fighters in the UFC can do everything, or MMA, right? So there you go. And that's the example. Dan Severn didn't know jiu-jitsu, and he got choked out. Yep. Nichols' replacement is Garbo. He's undefeated. I don't know how good he is, but I'm sure he's in there to be a sacrificial lamb. You can't have Bo Nichols lose right now on a main card. No, you need to keep the hype rolling and get it up there. This is Boxing 101. This is boxing promoters getting them up. Like, this is why, certain SEC teams play total scrubs in the preseason. Their first 4 games are against absolute scrubs. You got to have them keep winning and get into the rankings. So when they do get into conference play, the teams can say, well, they beat 6 ranked teams because they beat, Kentucky's going to be in the top 25 week 4, and they will have beaten a bunch of scrubs, just so we're clear. Thoughts on Elijah Rushing committing to Arizona over Oregon, Tennessee, and Notre Dame? So I don't get too excited about commitments at all. Players flip all the time before they even sign their letter of intent. And with the new rules, you can sign a letter of intent and leave school after spring ball. So shout out to him. But Rashawn Luke is still there at Arizona. And Luke is a sophomore? And I think Luke is explosive and went at breakaway speed. I think there's a lot of guys at Arizona that are good. Elijah Rushing can be him, but he might be at a different school, right? Shout out to Dorian Singer going to USC. Guys can just transfer and leave. So I don't get excited about recruits. I get excited about transfer portal players because more than likely they're transferring to your school and they will be there until they go pro. So anytime you get a transfer, there's a much better chance they're going to be there until they go pro. There's a much better chance they'll be in your 2 deep and actually see the field. A recruit, never in the 2 deep. Don't see him, just added depth to the team. In about 3 years, he might see the field. And if he doesn't see the field enough, he'll leave the school. So why are we talking about recruits? Thanks for the question. Shout out to you, Mike. He doesn't care about commits last time I checked. Thank you, Yunky Chunky. Didn't see the answer. There you go. Just an interesting comment. Yep. Thank you very much. Thanks for asking. What state is he from? He's from Tucson. He's from a state of bliss. He's the last running back from Tucson with Bijan Robinson that was worth talking about. But we'll do what we do here. Sorry, the chat just jumped on me. Let me get back to it. His brother plays at U of A now, so it makes sense. Just very uncommon for Arizona to land a recruit rated that high. Not very uncommon. They just got T-Mac, and he was a 5-star 2 years ago. I mean, it's not very uncommon. They get good players. People need to give Arizona a little more credit. They get good players. They just got to have continuity in the coaching staff. Dillon got more yards versus the Broncos. OJ got more yards in a Bronco. Shout out to Steve for knowing his Bronco trivia. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. More or less, just want to hear his thoughts on him as a player. Oh, you want me to do thoughts on him as a player? Send me a DM on TikTok. Send me his huddle link. Send me his name, and I will eventually do a film review on him. But I don't just do it like I don't just give my answer right now. I don't even worry about guys' tape until they actually get to school or they hit the transfer portal. Then I observe them like crazy. I have this weird strategy of looking at tape of players who hit the transfer portal, and it lets me know what's going on in the world of college football a lot more than looking at all the recruits. The recruits don't move. They don't move the meter. They don't even make the two deep. They're just there on the team. It's cool to know who they are, but I'll know them once they hit the transfer portal and go after another school because nobody's sitting the bench anywhere. Excuse me, my nose is itching. D-Jax was so dope for a while. Speed was different. This is a fact. Deshaun Jackson was amazing out of Long Beach Poly, Southern California, went to Cal. Deshaun Jackson was a fast receiver. He was dangerous. Arizona had Don Brown a couple years ago. Pretty sure he's at UMass now and lands good recruits just because of his name. He doesn't land good recruits at UMass. He lands great transfers because he is the doctor of the blitz. That's what it is. So he got a lot of defensive transfers and a lot of players from Arizona who want to go back and play for him again. So that's how that goes. You keeping up with the Dame situation? Somebody asked me about it earlier today, the Notre Dame situation. If so, you do right by him and send him to his preferred destination, Miami, or seek out the best package out there. Personally, I do what's best for Portland. Oh, you're talking about Dame as in, I thought you meant Notre Dame. You're talking about Dame as in Dame Dollar. Not paying attention to his situation. Don't care what he wants. Not giving him shit. Don't care. I'm doing what's best for me and my franchise, and that's how I feel about it. Look at old SlamBall highlights. Was so fun to watch. Oh, is SlamBall an old thing and it's revamped? I'm unfamiliar with it. Thank you guys. I didn't know. I'll look into it. Terrell Owens' weight was just politics. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. Needed to be reviewed for a few people need to get kicked out. So no, it's not how it worked. Chris E., shout out to you for saying that. But unfortunately, no wide receivers are first ballot Hall of Famers outside of, was Randy Moss a first ballot? Jerry Rice? Because Tim Brown wasn't, and he was third all time when he retired. They don't care if you're third all time at receiver. Receivers just have a huge backlog. Because typically, any receiver that's going to get in, there was a quarterback throwing to you. That quarterback's getting in before you. There's such a long line. There's just such a long line. There's only 5 guys that can get in every year. And most of those spots are already taken. You're not getting in. You're not getting in. It's crazy. You're not. It's nuts. Like Ben Roethlisberger, he's getting in. Antonio Gates getting. These are all locks. You can't even take the spots away from them. J.J. Watt and Tom Brady. So J.J. Watt and Tom Brady retired last year. So that means in 5 years, J.J. Watt, Tom Brady are 2 of the slots. Who are the other 3? Larry Fitzgerald? We'll see. And that's my point, is some spots are already taken and they're locked in bona fide by other positions and there's nothing you can do about it. Adrian Peterson's going to be coming up soon. It's just, you got no shot at taking their spots. Just so we're clear. Rico, we get a 290 watch party. So Ryan Leonard, we don't do a watch party. I live stream the fights every single Saturday. I live stream all UFC fights. I'm here for 6 hours. I do the early prelims, the main card. I do it all. I'm here the whole time. So if you're not here, you're missing out. But we're here for every UFC card. I'm here. I provide my expertise and knowledge on fighting. I do not listen to the commentators. I do not care what they're talking about. Joe Rogan, Dean Thomas. I don't care what anybody's saying. I just feel like they don't know the fight better than me. They're talking. They're doing their analysis. They say what I say after I say it. I beat them to it. And the reason I beat them to it is they're a statistician in their ear. There's somebody in their ear analyzing the fight and feeding them information, right? And then they finally get to say it. That's how that works on TV. There's someone in your ear feeding you crazy stats or information. I'll be sitting there going, oh, guys, he did that the last 3 fights. Oh, his last 3 fights, they were all done in the first round. He did that, blah, 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 blah. Oh, look at this. He needs to do this, do this. I provide my input immediately. I'm the guy that's in their ear. I'm the one of those analysts, one of those statisticians that's feeding the TV, talking analyst on TV. That's just the voice. That's just the person they want out there because they need somebody famous, a former fighter. They need Dominic Cruz and Michael Bisping. That's cool. But there's somebody else feeding them all the information. I'm that guy. I'm that equivalent. So that's what I do on my live stream. Thanks for anybody who comes and watches it with me. It's pretty cool. It was around a while ago. Look up SlamBall highlights on YouTube. Dudes be getting dunked on for real because of the trampoline. I don't even like dunks. I don't even watch the dunk contest. I don't even care. Stan Shakes Fletcher was the Jordan of SlamBall back in the day. Okay. Stan Shakes Fletcher. I might have to make videos on this shit. Yeah, wrestlers take those tourneys super serious. Cejudo still flexes those medals till this day. Yeah, he was a gold medalist Olympian. It's a little different. So much shade. Keep grinding, Rico. You can retire young, too. I'm going to retire young. Y'all can come watch. I'm retired right now. I'm young. Y'all can come watch MMA. It's a blast. Shout out to Steve. He learned MMA from me, just watching it with me. Steve didn't know anything about MMA until he started watching with me. And now Steve can watch fights and go, hey, Rico, this is happening. His tendency is this. Hey, look, he's got bad habits. Steve sees everything that I used to call out. He now sees it. He's a fast learner. He knows what's going on. Shout out to him. We'll be here. I'll give you the juice. I've only picked one wrong fight, and the last three Eric Anders let me down. That's right. I think we both picked Eric Anders, and he let us down. I wish he could show the fights. You know, I used to Yunky Chunky, and then I got a copyright violation from TikTok, so I'll never do that again because I can't jeopardize my TikTok. For as big of a card as UFC 290, pretty underwhelming press conference. Seemed like they wanted to end it quickly, maybe prepare for the Hall of Fame tonight. Oh, probably, Ryan Leonard. I didn't know the Hall of Fame was tonight. It's not a big deal to me. I also don't get excited about the press conferences. I really don't. The weigh-ins, press conference, I don't care. If you watch it to get hyped up on it, I don't. I do watch Undisputed. I do watch Embedded on ESPN+. Just like 8 or 9 minute episodes. I like to watch the whole week leading up to it. Eric Landers also let me down, that Nate Lewander fight. Did I get that one right? I don't remember. I don't think Mexicans are very good on the mic. No offense, Rico. Yeah, they're not appealing. They have a language barrier sometimes. But they're very good on ESPN Deportes, right? They're very good on the bilingual podcast. You don't quite understand. Nobody's better than Moreno on the bilingual podcast. Just keeping it real. SlamBall was televised from 02 to 08. If you liked sports, it was pretty interesting. Shout out to you, Steve. Okay. I was busy doing Army stuff. I don't know. I don't remember it at all. Were you surprised Smoke Harris didn't transfer to a Power 5? Not necessarily. Trey Harris did. But Smoke Harris is a good wide receiver. Good kid. I'm not saying I'm surprised. Sonny Cumbie runs a great offense. He's at La Tech, by the way, guys. He's a guy he's just a little bundle of fire. He was my number 9 wide receiver on my top 10 for my group of 5 wide receivers. I like Smoke Harris. He's fun to watch. Doesn't ever fair catch a punt. 1 fair catch and 55 punt returns. That dude's out there. He's out there to stick it, so I like the kid. Hey, Rico, last time I was here, I asked you to check out Joseph Manjack out of Houston. Did you get a chance to check him out? He transferred out of USC 2 years ago. So, yeah, I did. Not too excited. I know who he is. As soon as I got off live, I went and looked him up, and I said, oh, yeah, I remember the kid. And that's just it. Sometimes names run together. Sometimes pictures run together. But didn't stick out to me. Don't think he's that great. Could be wrong, but that's how I feel about it. So I apologize. I don't have like a whole lot of input other than that. That's how it is. Thoughts on Gunnar Watson and Troy this year? If he cuts down on his interceptions, could they knock off K-State and repeat champs in the Sun Belt? Knock off K-State? Kansas State? So I like Troy. And Gunnar Watson's not why I like Troy. They lost one of their leading receivers in Tez Johnson. They have Vidal. And they got another running back in the transfer portal. Who was it? Oh, Asika. No, Asika? No. Asa Martin. Asa Martin from Memphis. Previously from A&M. Asa Martin's from Auburn. A&M? Auburn. Tennessee. I'm drawing a blank. But they have 2 really good running backs. I like Troy as a team. I do. I think they can win the Sun Belt if they play great. But the Sun Belt's loaded this year. Have you looked at the Sun Belt? I'm going to do a video on the Sun Belt running backs. Sun Belt running backs are out of this world. They literally have like 6 1,000-yard rushers for next season. Sunbelt's just got amazing running backs. Amazing running backs. And I think they have their hands full. I don't think they can beat K-State. No. Not a chance. So, personally. Gunnar Watson cut down on his interceptions? I would hope so. I hope they don't throw it as much. I hope they run more. So that's how it goes. It's called Get Air, Rico. Get Air. Okay, Cindy. I don't know what that's about. There's some really good high school players from ATX area you could review. What's ATX? Atlanta? What's ATX? Somebody talk to me. Texarkana? You got to let me know what ATX is. I'm not familiar with that. Megatron, I think. Okay. Megatron first ballot? Maybe. My G Rico back at it. Thank you, Black. I'm here, brother. Give us your all-time favorite Lawler fight since it's his last fight this weekend, Roy McDonald. It's a great fight, but I don't really have an all-time favorite Lawler fight. I never really liked Robbie Lawler. He's a good fighter. Cool. Any fight where he shaved his head and then came back and fought. I'm cool with him, Yunky Chunky, but he's not my guy. Nah, he's all right. Do you think Duke has – oh, by the way, he's retiring after this fight, so great career. Shout out to Lawler for retiring. Do you think Duke has a top 10 D-line? No, I do not, Trent McPherson. No, I do not. Stan Fletcher is a coach this upcoming season, too. Oh, snap. Some people know who these guys are. You got the Nate fight right, but Eric the one wrong, and Amanda Nunez. Oh, did I get it wrong? I didn't get it wrong. I just never pick her. It's not that I got it wrong. I think I said she's going to win, but I'll never pick her to win. That's how that goes. Is the XFL, USFL the beginning of the end of arena football, especially when the XFL and USFL offer decent salaries compared to? So, no, there's always going to be an appeal for arena football. I don't think it's going to ever take off. I think it's just what it is. It's a third or fourth tier when it comes to football, right? You got the CFL, XFL, and USFL all respected, all viable. You can make a living doing those. You don't need a second job. You can just do those year round and you'll be okay within reason. And then you can go try out for the NFL and not miss a beat. So, yeah, I don't see the arena football being relevant in the world of trying to make it to the NFL like it used to be. So there you go. And I was saying Cejudo flexes his medals from when he was a kid, not his Olympic medal ones. Ben Askren talked about it. Okay, well, I don't listen to anything Ben Askren has to say. That curly-haired monster, I don't listen to him. Besides Colorado, who do you think were the winners and losers of the transfer portal? So the winners, Michael Stupka, I've done this a million times. The winners of the transfer portal, Colorado, Charlotte, Texas State, Louisville, Arizona State, Wisconsin, USC. Those all come to mind right away of who dominated and won the transfer portal. Now, who lost the transfer portal? Stanford, Kent State, South Florida. Stanford, Kent State, South Florida. Michigan State. Those are 4 that really lost. Oklahoma State. Indiana. There you go. I have a ton of rankings on it. Cal actually came back to win after losing for a while. Yep. Troy plays Kansas State week 2. Yeah, not a good game for them. I'm not excited about that game for Troy. Rico, favorite show on Netflix or sitcom? Watch 13 Hours, by the way. It was depressing but awesome. So it's extremely realistic, just so we're clear. My favorite show on Netflix, I don't watch sitcoms, so I'm not really into sitcoms. My favorite show on Netflix, though, it's a series. There's a couple of them. But I'm going to go with The Last Kingdom. It's Netflix equivalent to Game of Thrones. They made Game of Thrones. They made a show called Last Kingdom. And I'm telling you right now, The Last Kingdom is a quality written show. A well-written show. It's got everything you ever need. Watch the first episode and you'll be like, dude, I need to watch more of this. So The Last Kingdom is the best thing on Netflix. Pretty sure. As far as, I watch a lot of documentaries, and one documentary I highly recommend is Evil Genius. Evil Genius, if it's still on Netflix, go watch it. It's amazing. Watch Evil Genius. I recommend it to everybody. Obviously, there's other shows like Mindhunter, and there's a ton of great shows on Netflix. You just have to know what they are. But right off the top of my head, I go Last Kingdom and Evil Genius. Those are the two that I would recommend you watching at any time. And the other one that I don't recommend you watching, but you can watch it if you want, is Abducted in Plain Sight. It's must-see documentary, Abducted in Plain Sight. If you want to watch a good documentary or a train wreck of a documentary, try watching Abducted in Plain Sight. But don't watch it with kids. I don't know. Abducted in Plain Sight's tough to watch, y'all. So there we go. Everything else, I don't know. Austin, Texas. What did I say that you guys are all spamming Austin, Texas? I said something and everybody's spamming Austin, Texas. What was it? What was I talking about? Oh, ATX, Austin, Texas. Okay. Yeah, I know about the players in Austin, Texas football. Okay, I know what it is. I just didn't know you guys use that abbreviation for Austin, Texas. I'm very familiar with Texas high school football. I'm very familiar with it. My bad. What's 13 Hours, Steve? 13 Hours is a movie, and it's realistic as hell, just so you know. Does the UFC have a chance to outperform the NFL in the future? Not necessarily, Kelsey. No, not until they have a union, and they're going to need a whole lot of other appeal. It's just there's not a lot of appeal. The reality is kids aren't doing the UFC. Only adults are. So until you start seeing kids in high school doing MMA, there's going to be no major appeal at the upper echelon, right? That's why sports is so endearing to the American public. Is we have our children and we introduce them to it early, and they're all playing football as youth, and then they go up. Basketball as youth, and they go up. This is why our soccer isn't quite as popular, because we're not implementing soccer everywhere like we could with football and basketball or baseball. So no, it's not there, and it'll never be there. It just won't. You're talking about a relatively new sport. MMA just got created in the 90s, right? UFC created in the 90s. Comparing that to a 100-year-old company like the NFL. This is why MLS is so big, is because people go, whoa, where is MLS going to be in 100 years? Stop trying to compare it right now. Where's it going to be in 100 years? You know, people talk about the NBA, and they try to convince you that the NBA is being watched, but it's not. The NFL, all-time high ratings on TV, on cable, on streaming, doesn't matter. NFL, all-time high this season. March Madness, all-time high. People are watching basketball, college basketball, at an all-time high. People are watching NFL at an all-time high. But NBA, their peak was in the late 90s. Ever since LeBron and Adam Silver took over and they got woke, nobody's watching them. They'll tell you, oh, people watch different, we're streaming. No, why is it not impacting the NFL or college basketball? Why are they at all-time highs? They're streaming. There's people illegally streaming their broadcast. Like, what are you talking about? It's because people really aren't watching the NBA. It's not endearing to America. It's just not. They're foreign players. They don't even get the players from our colleges. Baseball's doing the same thing. Baseball's only going Latin America. All the players are from Latin America. You try to do an interview with a baseball player, it's not from America. But shout out to baseball. They're not lying. They called it the World Series. They got the whole world playing. Shout out to them. NBA, they lied. That's not a National Basketball Association. That's a World Basketball Association. It's a WBA. It's just the way it goes. Would you listen? Yeah, I wouldn't listen to Ben Askren either if I were you. No, not a chance. Last Kingdom is so good, even the spinoff. So I didn't watch the movie. I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know about the spinoff. Vikings, so good too. Yeah, I like the Vikings. It's fine. Vikings is good. There's a better show on that transition from Stars. What was it called? Outlander. It's on Netflix. It's one you can watch with your wife or your girlfriend. But it's got everything you're looking for. It checks all the boxes. So I'm cool with it. Ozark and Ragnarok is one of my favorite shows. Yeah, Ozark's fine. Bomb on how they rushed the Ozark show. Ragnarok new season is supposed to come out this year. Okay. Never really watched Ragnarok that I can think of. Do you think BYU would have been better served if they held out and tried to join the Pac-12 as opposed to the Big 12 because they'd have greater access to players from the West Coast and especially Hawaii? So, David Pithen, BYU has access to Samoan players, and it has nothing to do with the conference affiliation. BYU had access to those players before they ever got in a conference. It has everything to do with their religious affiliation. Okay, the BYU religion, if you will, the Latter-day Saint LDS stuff, huge in their culture, and that's why Utah is so fertile with Samoan linemen. They're still going to have that option, whether they're in the Pac-12 or Big 12. It doesn't matter. They didn't need to wait. No, you don't try to join the Pac-12. Their TV contract's not going to be good. Money's not going to be there. BYU did the right thing. Get in a Power 5 now and do your best. I think they're going to have a tough year, but do your best. I love people who think they can come in here and teach you about players. Trent McPherson. I don't mind. Everybody has a favorite player. Everybody has a favorite team. And they're convinced they know them better than everyone. The only difference is I actually have to come in here every night on live and have a conversation about these guys with homers, with fanatics, right? Fans is derived from the word fanatic. And I have to know them better than you. And that's the hardest part. Remember this, though, Trent. There was a guy who just wrote on my TikTok today, and he said, "Hey, Rico, I dare you to make a video with no takes. I dare you to make a video with no edit cuts. Because you talk and you do these little edits because you're Googling everything you're saying. You don't know anything. You're just looking it up before you talk it." There's a guy that just said that to me today on TikTok. And I just said, hey, man, show up to my live stream. I talk sports for 3 hours every night. Don't know where the questions are going to be. Just rapid fire me all day long. And somehow, some way, I can do this night in and night out, day in and day out, and I don't miss a beat. Yes, there are some questions asked of me, and I don't know the answer. Yes, and I readily admit it. I will say, hey, I don't know that answer. Let me write that down. I'll get back to you. We're not here to try to stump me, but my seamless ability to answer questions and talk about teams from all over the world, right? All over. You can ask me about, hey, last night a guy just came in and asked me about Rice out of nowhere. You know how many times I've been asked about Rice in the last year? Never. And he asked me about Rice's leading wide receiver hitting the transport. And I knew everything. I said, oh, I already talked about this guy. Boom, 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 boom. There's no sweat off my back. It's just the way I'm wired. And not everybody appreciates it. I thank you, Trent, for getting it. Trent's like, yo, people need to stop coming in here and trying to teach you anything. It's fine. I learn a lot. Trust me. I learn a lot from the questions, from the comments. I learn every day. I'm just building on what I know. But my database of information is obviously much wider than everybody else. It's the reality of the situation. It's what makes me unique. So I'm not just another guy out here. I don't have Google up on my other monitor, right? It doesn't work that way. I don't have time to type in things and start Googling the answers. I'm just here to talk. And thank you guys for having faith in me and trusting me. It's nice to have a conversation. Shout out to you, Trent. He definitely knows Austin has one of the top teams in the nation. Yes. Kids do UFC in Russia, Sambo wrestling. So yeah, Sambo wrestling's real, but it's not quite UFC. It's not MMA. They just do Sambo wrestling and they learn it really well and they do it. But they're not striking. Dang, reading about Last Kingdom sounds badass. Trent, watch one episode of Last Kingdom when we get off here tonight. Promise. Just one episode. And then you guys will come back to me and be like, yo, Rico, you were telling me the truth. The best show on Netflix. You guys asked me that question. The best show on Netflix off the top of my head. It's not Breaking Bad. It's not Walking Dead. It's not Mad Men. I love Mad Men. It's not any of those. It's just, boom. Oh, Last Kingdom. Quick. I'm letting you know right now. Nah, martial arts are better sport, but less popular. That's subjective. Rico, how do a 6'2", 6'3", 255 on Rivals become 5 stars and his rivals' politics? So, an O-lineman, 6'2", 255, 250, went to camp. He went to a camp. That's all it is. You get your stars from camps. It's not politics. They can only evaluate players that they've met and seen. They haven't seen you, they don't give you stars. I don't agree with it. I don't get excited about it. I don't worry about stars. I don't look at stars. I promise you guys I don't look at stars. I evaluate players. It's irrelevant. I don't give a shit about their stars. Give me their huddle tape. I'll watch them and go, whoa, that's a 4 or 5 star kid. And I'm just using that as a point of reference so you understand it. But in reality, I'll say, whoa, that's a Power 5 kid. That's how I feel. And I evaluate 0-star kids all day long. You know how many requests I get every single day and how many I go through, I make a video, once or twice a day? I do a high school film review. I got a whole playlist on TikTok. You know how many I have to watch? You know how many messages I send out to kids going, hey, watch your film. I'm not going to make a video on it, but I just want to let you know I saw these following things. Boom, 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 boom. Keep working, keep striving, be great, and hopefully you'll get some attention from FCS schools or your local junior college. Do it all day long. And I'm not charging any money for it. Somebody said I could charge $20 per review. Not doing it. It's not worth it. I could do 2 an hour. That's $40 an hour. That's a pay cut for me, bro. I'm not fighting for that. I'm not trying to take kids' money. I'll give them the keys to the castle and help them out as best I can. But it's fun. I don't care about 5-star kids. I don't care. When people write me like a famous player, Rico, you need to watch some film on DJ Lagway. Why? 3,000 people watched that film today. Why? I need to point out some kid who's not getting an offer. Oh, Rico, you haven't even looked at film on blah, blah, blah. Shut up. He just committed to Bama. You don't even know. Yes, I do know. And I know and everybody knows. If you know, I know. And I know that you know that I know. Real talk. I don't know if you've seen that comment, but I'm curious about it. What comment? I don't know what comment you're talking about. Melody, he goes down the list of comments and questions. Yeah, just be patient. Mello, just be patient. I eventually get there. NBA is a global sport. Basketball is religion in the Philippines. NBA is huge in China. NBA might not be huge in the U.S., but it's a global audience. It's big coming across American CBA. Yeah, the problem is it's located here in America. That's the problem. How close of a replacement do you think Montana Lominus Craig will be for Dorian Singer? Not at all. Michael Stupka, not at all. I don't see MLC being anything like Dorian Singer. Nothing. They're not in the same realm. They're not in the same neighborhood. Okay? What they're going to do is they're going to use, who's the kid from UTEP? Name escapes me right now, the transfer from last year, and T-Mac, and that's going to be their targets. MLC's an afterthought. He's not filling that role like that. He's not him. He is not him in that regard. Just so you know, counting. There you go. So, nah. Haha, it takes about 30 seconds in live streams to understand your knowledge. Thank you, Trent. I appreciate it. Where on earth did you hear that Nolan Smith has bad work ethic? Barack. You should know this if you watch my content. Every single one of my videos has an intentional error in it to drive engagement or to drive comments. So I make a video and every single one of them has one error. And in that Georgia video, the one error is Nolan Smith has poor work ethic. And every single Georgia fan bit hook, line, and sinker. They watched the video, they wrote their comment and questioned where I got it. Where did you read it? What source was it? They're arguing back and forth, and this increases my view count and my income. I do this with every single video. I make an intentional error in every video, and somebody generally catches it. Somebody finds it. They don't always, but they should. And then there's the haters who go, he didn't do that on purpose. He just doesn't know. He's just lying. No. I've already made a video about this. It used to be pinned on my channel. I used to have a pinned video that told everybody, hey, in every video there's an Easter egg. In every video there's a bug. You got to find it. Don't fall for it. And when they write it, the first thing I do is I reply back with a hook. I hooked you. You took the bait. You bit on the hook. You're a fish. I got you. So you came in here and asked me, where did I read it? Hook to you. You bit. Hard as hell. So there you go. Shout out to you for the question. Being fast doesn't mean you got a good work ethic. Shout out to you, Yunky Chunky. He was a captain junior and senior year. Yeah, that's irrelevant. You think they let people with bad work ethic be captains? All the time, Barack. All the time, Barack, they do. Yes, people with bad work ethic become captains. It's a popularity contest. Maybe you got the most pro potential. It's not always the hardest worker. No, because the hardest worker can be a walk-on. That's place you were talking about. Okay, Cindy, I don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't say Smith doesn't have a work ethic. Cowing, yep. I agree. I think T-Mac jumps to Singer's spot. Cowing still performs, and MLC plays somewhat of a wily role. Exactly. You're on it all day, Michael. Josh Sweat on the newly drafted defensive line additions, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. They're great. The work ethic is crazy for both of them. They're professionals, man. They're going to learn and are at Chunky. They're here and are going to learn. Barack, you're preaching to the choir, man. We know who they are. We know who they are. Are there any teams this year that might break out, like Syracuse, with largely one skilled player like Sean Tucker or Charlie Jones at Purdue? So, David Pithen, yes. I'm going to go with Minnesota, Ball State, Louisville, Wisconsin, one skilled player that's going to just ball out of control. I'm trying to think. Only one skilled player. Wyoming, Memphis. I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's a ton of teams that are going to have one skilled player that dominates. So, yeah, pretty normal. Great question, though, David Pitton. There's a lot of teams. I'd probably make a video on that. One skill player dominating. I got you. It'll be interesting what I come up with. Rico is also really good at catching trick emails. Shout out to you, Steve. That's why wasn't Stenson a captain? Stetson Bennett? Bro, stop it. Stop it, Barack. You are a Georgia fan. You're one of the many bandwagon Georgia fans. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. These guys who just showed up out of nowhere and claim to be Georgia fans. Let me tell you guys something. I told a guy, I can't wait for Georgia to be 8-5. And he said, the day Georgia's 8-5 under Kirby Smart, you'll be right. Buddy, I said 8-5 because I'm extremely calculated. Georgia's first year with Kirby Smart, they went 8-5. They've already been 8-5. They've already been 8-5. So that's how that goes. Bruh, I just stated I never said Nolan Smith doesn't have work ethic. I wanted him as a Lions. Hey, Yankee Chunky, don't worry about it. Hey, I-bench, don't worry about it. Rico, you should apply to sit across from Skip Bayless. Yeah, I don't know where the applications are. They're looking for somebody famous. They're looking for a former player. They don't want somebody real. They don't want somebody that would dominate him. They don't want an alpha male in the room. Elijah Spencer's going to be good. So if you guys don't know who Elijah Spencer is, that was the leading receiver on Charlotte last year. Just transferred to Minnesota. Elijah Spencer outproduced, Grant DuBose, who's an NFL draft pick, who's now with the Packers. I like Elijah Spencer a lot, but he's not going to be the one-hit wonder at Minnesota next year. I think it's Sean Tyler, their running back, who just showed up from Western Michigan. I think he's going to have a ton of carries and production. Not quite like Mo Ibrahim, but I think he is him. I think he's great. Back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. Really good. I've been a UGA fan since I was in diapers. So, you've been a UGA fan for 13 years. It's incredible. Do you still wear diapers today? I think you might have a problem with defecation, writing FOH out here. You came to my channel to tell me FOH. Think about it, Barack. Think about what you're doing. This is clown all day long. Excuse me. There you go. How's it feel, bro? Gotta bounce. Thanks for the live. Yeah, hey guys, we're done here. I'm gonna go over this real quick and then we'll call it a night. Look at this right here. Votes are in for the 2023 preseason poll in the Big 12. They put their votes in. And if you look at the preseason poll, TCU is 5th. I'm here to tell you TCU is probably going to end up 7th or 10th. In the 7 to 10 range. I don't believe in TCU this year at all. I believe in Kansas more than TCU. I'm telling you, I believe in Iowa State more than TCU. But I was right. Yesterday I talked about Cincinnati struggling, even though they have the easiest schedule. But there's TCU. Everybody needs to stop praising TCU. They're not up there. There's 4 teams very distinctly ahead of TCU. And it's not close. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's not close. Shout out to Texas Tech. That's how I feel about it. True, Sean Tyler is going to be really good in flex system, especially with Potts transferring. Yep, it's part of the deal. Any chance Louisville wins ACC? No. Seabear, no. No, Louisville's not winning the ACC. ACC is going to be between Clemson and Florida State. Period. Now, the third best team, Miami, North Carolina, Louisville, like I'm there. I'm there in that conversation all day. But as far as the top two, nah. It's not happening like that. On crochet, can you give full screen on crochet top ad? Oh, no thanks. I don't know anything about those ads that show up. It's just like that, bruh. my boy be getting me there every single time. Shout out to Steve. Do you think Maryland can win 8 games next year? Yes, I do, Chaz. Yes, I do. Are they going to win 8 games? I don't know, but I think they can. They look very good. They look like the 3rd or 5th best team. The 4th or 5th best team in the Big Ten. So shout out to them. But hey guys, sorry we had such a short show. Some nights there isn't much to talk about. Some nights the questions aren't popping the way they should, and I appreciate it because I can go and do other things. There's a lot of things I want to do with my time. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Just remember, your friends don't know, but obviously Rico does. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching the videos. And you guys have a blessed night.
Move I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove there's strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to